Dr. Jake Thompson had been working alone at the research station for 3 months. The place was so far north in Alaska that even the GPS sometimes got confused. He was there to study climate change, measuring ice samples, and recording temperatures that kept getting warmer each year. The storm hit on a Tuesday night. Jake had seen plenty of bad weather, but this one was different. The wind howled like a living thing, and the snow came down so thick he couldn't see his own hand in front of his face. He was supposed to check the equipment one last time before the storm got worse, but maybe he should have stayed inside. That's when he saw the strange blue light. At first, Jake thought it was just lightning reflecting off the ice, but the light stayed there, pulsing softly about half a mile from the station. His scientific curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed his emergency gear and headed out into the storm. The wind nearly knocked him over twice. Ice crystals stung his face even through his protective goggles. That blue light kept calling to him, getting brighter as he got closer. When he finally reached the source, Jake couldn't believe what he was seeing. Something had crashed into the ice. It wasn't like any aircraft he'd ever seen. The metal was smooth and curved, almost like it had been grown instead of built, and that blue light was coming from inside. Jake circled the craft carefully. Part of it had broken open when it hit the ground. Through the crack, he could see more of that soft blue glow. His heart was pounding as he got closer to look inside. That's when he found her. The woman was unconscious, lying in what looked like some kind of sleeping pod. She appeared to be about his age, maybe a little younger. Her skin was pale, almost white, but there was something unusual about it. It seemed to glow faintly in the blue light. Her hair was long and silver, not gray like an old person's, but actually silver like moonlight. Jake checked for a pulse and found one, strong and steady. She was breathing, but she felt cold, too cold. The storm was getting worse, and if he left her here, she would freeze to death within hours. He managed to get her out of the strange craft and carried her back to his emergency shelter. It was a small cabin built to survive the worst weather Alaska could throw at it. Once inside, Jake got the heater going and wrapped the mysterious woman in warm blankets. For the first day, she didn't wake up. Jake checked on her every hour, making sure she was still breathing. He noticed more strange things about her. Her fingernails had a slight blue tint, and there were faint markings on her skin that looked like tiny stars or snowflakes. They were so light he could barely see them. On the second day, she opened her eyes. Jake was sitting nearby reading a book when he heard a soft sound. He looked up to see the most beautiful eyes he'd ever seen. They were silver, like her hair, but they seemed to hold depth, like looking into a clear winter sky full of stars. "Where am I?" she asked. Her voice was soft but had a strange accent Jake couldn't place. "You're safe," Jake said, trying to keep his voice calm. "I found you in a crashed ... vehicle. You were unconscious," slowly looking around. "The small cabin. The storm," she said. "I remember the storm. My ship couldn't handle your weather patterns." "Ship." She'd said ship, not plane or helicopter. "What's your name?" Jake asked. "You can call me Luna," she said after a moment. "And you are?" "Jake. Dr. Jake Thompson. I'm a scientist." Luna smiled, and Jake felt his heart skip. "A scientist. Good, you might understand better than most." "Understand what?" Luna looked out the small window at the storm still raging outside. "That I'm not from here, not from your world." Jake stared at her. Part of him wanted to laugh, but something in her eyes stopped him. She was serious. "You're saying you're from another planet?" he asked. "Very far from here," Luna nodded. "My people sent me to find something. Someone actually. But my ship was damaged in your atmosphere. I barely made it to the surface." Jake's scientific mind was racing. If she was telling the truth, this was the discovery of the century. First contact with an alien species, but she looked so human, so normal, except for those unusual features. "Why do you look so much like us?" he asked. Luna's expression grew sad. "'Cause we're dying, Jake. My people are dying. We've been searching across the galaxy for someone compatible with our genetics, someone who can help us survive. Compatible how? Our species needs genetic diversity to survive. We've become too isolated, too similar to each other. We need new genetic material to save our people from extinction. Jake felt overwhelmed. And you think humans can help? I was sent to find out, Luna said. But now I'm stranded here until the storm passes, and I can try to repair my ship. For the next 2 days, they were stuck together in the small cabin. Jake found himself fascinated by Luna's stories about her world. She described cities that floated in the clouds, technology that could heal any wound, and a society that had existed for thousands of years. In return, Jake told her about Earth, about human culture and science. Luna listened with intense interest, asking questions about everything from music to food to the way humans formed relationships. Your people sound so different from mine, Luna said one evening as they shared a simple meal. So emotional, so connected to each other. Aren't your people emotional? We are, but differently. We're more reserved, formal. We don't often form the kind of bonds I've read about in your literature. Jake realized he was enjoying her company more than he'd enjoyed anyone's in a long time. There was something about Luna that made him feel less alone, even in this remote place. On the 3rd day, the storm finally began to calm. Luna's strange markings had started to glow brighter, and Jake noticed she seemed stronger, more energetic. I should check on my ship, she said, see if it can be repaired. But when they went outside, they found that the crash site was now buried under 10 feet of snow. Luna's ship was completely hidden. I'm stranded, she said quietly. Jake looked at her, standing in the snow, with her silver hair blowing in the wind. Maybe that's not such a bad thing, he said. Luna turned to him with those starlight eyes. What do you mean? Maybe you were meant to find me. Maybe this is how our species are supposed to meet. Luna smiled, and for the first time since he'd found her, she looked truly happy. Perhaps you're right, Jake. Perhaps this is just the beginning. Neither of them knew how right she was, or how complicated things were about to become. 3 months had passed since Jake returned from Alaska. He tried to go back to his normal life, but nothing felt normal anymore. He worked at the university, taught his classes, and attended boring meetings, but his mind was always somewhere else, always thinking about Luna. She had left when the rescue team came to get him. One day she was there, and the next morning she was gone. No note, no goodbye, nothing. Just empty space where she used to be. Jake told everyone he had been alone the whole time during the storm. Who would believe him if he told the truth? Jake knew something was different about himself. He had been having strange dreams every night. Dreams about floating cities and silver skies. Dreams about a world so beautiful it made him cry when he woke up. Sometimes he felt like someone was trying to talk to him in his sleep, but the words never came through clearly. His friends noticed the change too. His colleague, Dr. Rachel Park, kept asking if he was feeling okay. His neighbor Tom mentioned that Jake seemed distant lately. But how could he explain that he missed someone who wasn't supposed to exist? Then came the phone call that changed everything. Jake was grading papers in his office when his phone rang. The number was blocked, but something told him to answer it anyway. Hello, Jake. His heart stopped. It was Luna's voice. Luna.
Where?
Are you? I've been worried sick about you. I'm safe, she said. But her voice sounded different. Tired. Yeah, but I need to see you. There's something I have to tell you, of course. Where do you want to meet? The park near your house. Tonight at 10? Come alone. The line went dead. Spent the rest of the day unable to concentrate. When 10 o'clock came, he was already waiting at the park. The night was clear, and the stars seemed brighter than usual. Luna appeared from behind a tree, and Jake's breath caught in his throat. She looked the same but different. Her silver markings were glowing more brightly, and there was something about her posture that seemed more confident, more sure of herself. I've missed you, Jake said, walking toward her. Jake, stop, Luna said, holding up her hand. Before you say anything else, I have to tell you something. Something that will change everything. Jake stopped walking, and there was something in her voice that scared him. What is it? Luna took a deep breath. I'm going to have a baby, Jake. Your baby. The world seemed to spin around Jake. That's impossible, We're different species. Can't work that way. It can, Luna said quietly. That's why I was sent to Earth, to see if it was possible. And it is. Jake sat down hard on a park bench. You're pregnant? Really? Yes. And that's not all I have to tell you. Luna sat down beside him. Jake, I haven't been completely honest with you. What do you mean? I'm not who you think I am? I'm not the real Luna. Jake stared at her. What are you talking about? I'm a copy, Jake. A clone. The real Luna is still on my home world. She's the queen of our people, and she sent me here to test whether humans and our species could have children together. Jake felt like he was falling through space. You're a clone? Yes, I was made to be like the real Luna, but also to be more like humans. More emotional, more able to connect. With your species, the real Luna is too important to risk on a mission like this. So everything we shared, everything we felt, that was all fake? No. Luna grabbed his hand. That's just it, Jake. The feelings were real. I wasn't supposed to develop real emotions, but I did. I fell in love with you even though I wasn't designed to. Jake pulled his hand away. How can I believe anything you say? You've been lying to me this whole time. I know how it sounds. But Jake, there's more. The real Luna, the queen, she's been watching everything through our connection. She felt everything I felt. She experienced our time together through my memories. She was spying on us. Not spying, sharing. It's hard to explain, but my people have a mental connection with their clones. Everything I learned, everything I felt, she felt too. Jake stood up and started pacing. This is insane. You're telling me there's an alien queen who has been watching us through your eyes? Yes, and Jake, she wants to meet you. Before Jake could respond, the air around them began to shimmer. A figure appeared, translucent at first, but becoming more solid by the second. It was Luna, but not Luna. This version was taller, more regal, with an presence that made Jake feel small and insignificant. Hello, Jake, the figure said. Her voice was like Luna's, but deeper, more commanding. I am Queen Arya, the true ruler of the Zarian people. Jake's legs felt weak. You're real, very real. And I have been experiencing your world through my clone's eyes. It has been ... enlightening. What do you want from me? Queen Arya stepped closer. Your species fascinates me, Jake. The way you form connections, the way you care for each other, the way you love. My people have lost this ability over the centuries. We've become too focused on logic and survival. So you sent Luna here to study us? Sent her here to see if reproduction was possible between our species? But she brought back something more valuable than I expected. What's that? Hope, love? The possibility that my people can learn to feel again. Jake looked between the two versions of Luna. What does this have to do with me? Queen Arya's expression softened slightly. The child you and my clone carry is proof that our species can survive together. But one child is not enough. All my people need genetic diversity, and I need to understand what my clone experienced. You want me to help you too? I want to understand love, Jake. I want to feel what my clone felt. But I also want to give my people a future. Jake felt overwhelmed. I don't understand any of this. Yesterday I was just a regular professor. I know. You're telling me I'm supposed to help save an entire alien species? The choice is yours, Queen Arya said. But know that the child you carry with my clone will be the first of a new kind of being. Part human, part Zarian. A bridge between two worlds. Luna stepped forward. I know this is a lot to process, but I want you to know that everything I felt for you was real. Even if I'm just a copy, my feelings were my own. Jake looked at her, then at the queen. Ow. Now, Queen Arya said, you have a decision to make. You can return to your normal life and pretend none of this happened, or you can help us build a future where humans and Zarians can exist together. And if I choose to help, then you become part of something bigger than either of our worlds. You become the father of a new species. Jake sat back down on the bench. I need time to think, of course, Queen Arya said. But know that my people don't have much time. And neither does my clone. What do you mean? Luna touched her stomach gently. Clones aren't meant to live long, Jake. I was designed to last only long enough to complete my mission. Having this baby is using up what little time I have left. Jake felt his heart break. You're dying eventually, but this child will live. And it will be proof that love can exist between any two beings, no matter how different they seem. Queen Arya's image began to fade. I will return in 7 days for your answer, Jake. Consider carefully. The future of two worlds may depend on your choice. When the queen disappeared, Jake and Luna sat in silence for a long time. Are you really going to die? Jake asked finally. Yes, Luna said simply, but not yet. Have enough time to see. Our child born. Jake put his arm around her. Then we'd better make the most of the time we have. Luna smiled and leaned against him. Whatever happens, Jake, I want you to know that loving you was the most real thing I've ever experienced. As they sat under the stars, Jake realized that his quiet life as a professor was over. Whether he chose to help Queen Arya or not, everything had changed. He was going to be a father to a child unlike any other in the universe. The question was, what kind of world would that child grow up in? Jake barely slept for the next 3 days. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Queen Arya's face, asking him to make an impossible choice. How could one person decide the fate of an entire alien species? He was just a climate scientist who liked reading books and drinking coffee. He wasn't meant for this kind of responsibility. Luna stayed close to him during those days. She could see the stress on his face, the way he kept running his hands through his hair when he was thinking hard. She tried to comfort him, but Jake could tell she was worried too. Her silver markings had started to dim, and she seemed tired all the time. The baby is taking a lot of energy from me, she explained when Jake asked if she was okay. It's normal for my kind during pregnancy, but you're not exactly your kind, are you? Jake said. You're a clone. What if something goes wrong? Luna smiled sadly. Then at least I'll have experienced love before I go. On the 4th day, everything changed. Jake was at the university, trying to focus on his research, when his assistant Ben rushed into his office. Dr. Thompson, you need to see this, Ben said, turning on the television. The news anchor was speaking in urgent tones. We're getting reports of unusual aircraft spotted over major cities around the world. These objects don't match any known technology and appear to be moving in ways that defy the laws of physics. Jake's blood turned cold. On the screen, he could see sleek, curved ships floating silently above New York City. They looked exactly like the craft he'd found Luna in, but much larger. Government officials are asking everyone to remain calm while they investigate, the anchor continued. Military sources say they've attempted to make contact with these aircraft, but have received no response. Jake's phone rang. It was Luna. Jake, you need to come home right now, she said. Her voice was shaking. I'm watching the news. Those are your people, aren't they? It's Queen Arya? She's here, and she's not alone. She brought a fleet. Jake grabbed his keys and ran out of the office. The drive home felt like it took forever. Every few minutes, he saw people pointing at the sky or taking pictures with their phones. The alien ships were everywhere, just hovering silently above the city. When Jake got to his house, he found Luna standing in the backyard, looking up. At the sky, above them, about 100 feet up, was one of the alien ships. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. She's been waiting for you, Luna said, without turning around. A beam of light came down from the ship, and Queen Arya materialized in front of them. This time, she wasn't translucent. She was completely solid, real, and even more intimidating. Then before, Jake, she said, nodding to him. I see you've noticed our arrival. The whole world has noticed, Jake said. What are you doing? You're going to cause a panic? I'm showing your leaders that we're serious, Queen Arya replied. For too long, your species has believed you were alone in the universe. It's time that changed. But why now? You said you'd give me 7 days to decide. Plans change, the Queen said. My scouts have detected military movement. Your government is preparing to act against us. I won't let them harm my clone or the child she carries. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. What kind of military movement? Weapons. Soldiers. They're planning to capture Luna and study her. They want to use the baby as a bargaining chip. Luna stepped closer to Jake. They found out about us somehow. I've been having strange dreams, like someone was trying to get inside my head. Your government has been developing psychic detection. Technology, Queen Arya explained. They've been tracking unusual mental activity for months. When you formed a connection with my clone, you created a psychic signature they could follow. Jake looked around nervously. So they're coming here? They're already here, Queen Arya said. As if on cue, the sound of helicopters filled the air. Jake could see military vehicles driving up his street surrounding his house. Men in black uniforms were getting out, carrying weapons and equipment he didn't recognize. Dr. Thompson, a voice called through a megaphone. We know you're in. There, come out with your hands visible and bring the female with you. Jake's heart was pounding. What do we do? Queen Arya stepped forward. You have a choice to make right now, Jake. Come with me and I'll protect you and my clone. Or stay here and let your government take you both. I can't just leave, Jake said. This is my home, my life. Your old life is over, Queen Arya said firmly. It's the moment you found my clone. Everything changed. Your government will never let you live normally again. They'll study you, experiment on you, use you as a weapon against my people. Luna grabbed Jake's hand. She's right. I can sense their intentions. They don't see us as people, but they see us as tools. The voice on the megaphone spoke again. Dr. Thompson, you have 30 seconds to surrender, or we're coming in. Jake looked at Luna, then at Queen Arya. If I come with you, what happens then? Then you help me save my people. Queen Arya said, and in return, I'll make sure you and my clone are safe. And if I refuse, then you'll spend the rest of your life in a government facility and your child will grow up as a test subject. Jake closed his eyes and thought about his options. Stay and risk everything, or go with an alien queen who wanted him to father her children. Neither choice seemed good. Time's up, the voice announced. Move in. Jake could hear boots on his front porch, voices shouting orders. In a few seconds, they would break down his door. I'll go with you, Jake said quickly. But I want your word that Luna and the baby will be safe. You have it, Queen Arya said. The queen raised her hand, and a shield of energy appeared around them. Jake could hear the soldiers trying to break through his front door, but they couldn't get past the barrier. Hold on, Queen Arya said. The beam of light surrounded them, and Jake felt himself being lifted off the ground. In seconds, they were inside the alien ship. Through the transparent walls, Jake could see his house, getting smaller below them. I'm sorry, Luna said, squeezing his hand. I know this isn't what you wanted. Jake looked at her, then at Queen Arya, who was watching them both with interest. Actually, Jake said, maybe this is exactly what I needed. My life was getting pretty boring anyway. Queen Arya smiled for the first time since Jake had met her. I think you're going to fit in well with us, Jake. My people could use someone with your sense of humor. As the ship rose higher into the sky, Jake realized there was no going back now. He was part of something bigger than himself, bigger than Earth. For the first time in months, he felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. So what happens now? He asked. Now, Queen Arya said, you get to see what the universe really looks like, and you get to help decide what kind of future our species will have together. Jake looked out at the stars appearing as they left Earth's atmosphere. I hope I'm ready for this. Don't worry, Luna said, smiling at him. We'll figure it out. Together. But as Jake watched his home planet disappear behind them, he couldn't shake the feeling that the hard part was just beginning. Queen Arya had saved them from the government, but what did she really want from him? What would happen when they reached her world? The answers to those questions would have to wait. For now, Jake was flying through space with an alien queen, and the woman he loved, about to become part of a story that would change two worlds forever. The alien ship was unlike anything Jake had ever imagined. The walls seemed to be made of living metal that shifted and changed color as they moved through space. There were no hard edges anywhere, just smooth curves that somehow made him feel calm and peaceful. Queen Arya led them through corridors that seemed to stretch on forever. Other aliens walked past them, all looking similar to Luna, but with different colored markings on their skin. Some had gold patterns, others had deep blue or purple. They all stopped and bowed when they saw Queen Arya. "Your people really respect you," Jake observed. "Respect and fear often look the same," Queen Arya replied. "I've been their queen for over 300 years. Sometimes I wonder if they remember how to think for themselves." Jake was about to ask more questions when Luna suddenly grabbed his arm. Her face had gone very pale, and she was breathing hard. "The baby," she whispered. "Something's happening." Shh. Felt a strange tingling in his head, like someone was trying to talk to him from very far away. The feeling got stronger and stronger until suddenly images started flashing through his mind. He saw Luna's world, her people, their beautiful cities floating in purple skies. But he also saw something else, something that made his heart race. He saw the plague that was killing Luna's people. He watched as entire cities became empty, as families said goodbye to each other for the last time. He felt their desperation, their fear that their entire species would disappear forever. "What's happening to me?" Jake asked, holding his head. "The baby is creating a mental link between all of us," Queen Arya explained. "This is beyond anything we expected. Your child is already showing abilities that neither of our species has alone." Luna's markings were glowing brighter now, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. "I can hear its thoughts," she said in wonder. "The baby is trying to communicate." Jake felt another wave of images hit him. This time he saw Earth from space, but not as it was now. He saw it in the future, with strange new cities that mixed human and alien technology. He saw children playing who looked like both species, with human features, but with the glowing markings of Luna's people.
Ow.
"It's showing us possibilities," Jake said.
Different futures depending on what choices we
"Make?" Queen Arya moved closer to them. "This changes everything. The child can already do this. Imagine what it might be capable of when it's born." But before anyone could respond, alarms started going off throughout the ship. Red lights flashed, and Jake could hear crew members running through the corridors. "What's wrong?" Jake asked. Queen Arya touched a panel on the wall, and a screen appeared showing the view outside the ship. Behind them, Jake could see Earth getting smaller, but there were also other ships following them, human ships. "Your military is more advanced than we thought," Queen Arya said grimly. "They've managed to track us into space." "How is that possible?" Jake asked. "Humans don't have ships that can travel this fast." "They don't," Queen Arya agreed. "But they have something else. They have one of my people." The screen zoomed in on the lead human ship, and Jake could see a figure standing on what looked like a bridge. Even from this distance, he could tell it was someone from Luna's species. But the markings on their skin were completely black, instead of silver or gold. "Who is that?" Luna asked. Queen Arya's expression turned dark. "That's Commander Zix. He was banished from our world 50 years ago for trying to start a war with other species." "I thought he was dead." "Apparently not," Jake said. "What is it? He want revenge?" "He's probably told your government that I'm here to invade Earth. He'll do anything to make sure our species never find peace." The ship shook as something hit it. Jake grabbed Luna to keep her from falling, but she cried out in pain. "The stress is too much for her," Queen Arya said. "The baby is reacting to all the conflict and fear around us. We need to get somewhere." "Safe. Where can we go?" Jake asked. "They're following us." Queen Arya thought for a moment. "There's an old research station on one of your moons. It was abandoned decades ago, but it still has life support. We can hide there while Luna recovers." The ship changed direction suddenly, heading toward Earth's moon. Jake could see it growing larger on the screen, gray and covered with craters. It looked lonely and cold. "Will the baby be okay?" Jake asked Luna. "I don't know," she said honestly. "I can feel it getting stronger, but also more restless. It doesn't like all this conflict." As they got closer to the moon, Jake started having more visions. This time he saw Luna's world as it used to be, before the plague. It was beautiful, with crystal cities and gardens that floated in the air. The people were happy, peaceful, working together to create amazing things. But then he saw what went wrong. He saw how they became too focused on perfection, too isolated from other species. They stopped taking risks, stopped growing, stopped learning new things. That's when the plague started, targeting their genetic weaknesses. Your people didn't just get sick, Jake said to Queen Arya. You got stuck. You stopped changing, stopped adapting. Queen Arya looked surprised. How did you know that? The baby is showing me. It understands both of our species in ways we don't understand ourselves. They landed on the moon's surface near an old human research base. The building looked tiny and fragile on the vast gray landscape. Through the ship's windows, Jake could see Earth hanging in the black sky like a blue marble. It's beautiful, Luna said, looking at his home planet. It's also in danger, Queen Arya said. Commander Zix convinces your leaders that we're a threat. Both our worlds could end up at war. They made their way into the abandoned research station. The air was stale and cold, but the life support systems still worked. Queen Arya used her technology to improve the heating and air quality. Luna sat down heavily in an old chair. Her condition was getting worse. The markings on her skin were flickering like a dying light bulb. How much time do I have? She asked Queen Arya. Days, maybe weeks, the queen said softly. The baby is taking more energy from you than your body can handle. Jake knelt beside Luna's chair. There has to be something we can do. There is, Queen Arya said, but you're not going to like it. What is it? I can transfer some of my life force to her. It would give her enough strength to survive until the baby is born. But it would also create a permanent link between all three of us.
And what kind of link? Jake asked.
We would share thoughts, feelings, experiences. You would become part of our royal family in ways that go beyond just having a child together. Jake looked at Luna, who was getting weaker by the minute. Would it save her? Yes, Queen Arya said. But it would also mean you could never go back to your old life. You would be connected to us forever. Luna reached out and took Jake's hand. It's your choice, she said. I won't ask you to sacrifice your freedom for me. Jake thought about his old life. His quiet office at the university, his small apartment, his routine that never changed. Then he thought about Luna, about their unborn child, about the possibility of helping an entire species find a way to live together. Do it, he said to Queen Arya. Are you sure? I'm sure. Luna and the baby are more important than my old life. Queen Arya placed her hands on both of them. Jake felt a warm energy flowing through him, connecting him to both women in a way he had never experienced before. Suddenly he could feel Luna's pain, but also Queen Arya's deep loneliness and responsibility for her people. It's done, Queen Arya said. Luna's markings brightened immediately, and color returned to her face. But Jake also felt different. He could sense thoughts and emotions that weren't his own. How do you feel? Luna asked him. It's like I'm not just me anymore, Jake said. Like I'm part of something bigger. Through their new connection, Jake could feel Queen Arya's surprise. She hadn't expected the link to be so strong, or for Jake to adapt to it so quickly. This is unprecedented, she said. The connection between us is stronger than anything in our history. Suddenly, alarms started going off again. Through the station's windows, they could see ships landing on the moon's surface. Both human and alien vessels were setting down nearby. They found us, Jake said. Of course they did, Queen Arya replied. Commander Zix can track my life force now that we're linked. What do we do? Luna stood up, stronger now but still fragile. We faced them together, all three of us. Jake looked out at the approaching ships and realized that everything was about to change again. This time, he wasn't facing the unknown alone. He had Luna, Queen Arya, and their unborn child, who seemed to be the key to everything. The final confrontation was coming, and Jake just hoped they were strong enough to survive it. The ships landed on the moon's surface like metal birds settling on gray sand. Jake watched through the research station's windows as soldiers in spacesuits started walking toward their building. Some were human, others were from Luna's species. But with those frightening black markings he'd seen before, how long before they reach us? Jake asked. Queen Arya checked a device on her wrist. 10 minutes, maybe less. Luna was sitting in the old chair, breathing heavily. Even with Queen Arya's life force helping her, the baby was taking a lot of energy. Something's happening, she said suddenly. The baby wants to come now. Jake's heart jumped. Now. It's too early, isn't it? It's not for our species, Queen Arya said. Our children develop faster when there's danger around. It's a survival trait. But Luna's not fully your species, Jake pointed out. She's a clone. What if something goes wrong? Before anyone could answer, Luna cried out in pain. Through their mental connection, Jake felt what she was feeling. It was like nothing he'd ever experienced. A mixture of pain and joy and overwhelming love for the child that was about to be born. We need to help her, Jake said, kneeling beside Luna's chair. Queen. Arya moved to Luna's other side. I've delivered many children, but never one like this. We'll have to trust that the baby knows what it's doing. Outside, the soldiers were getting closer. Jake could see Commander Zix leading them, his black markings making him look like a shadow. Against the gray moon surface, they'll be here soon, Jake said. Let them come, Luna said between pains. Our daughter needs to be born in peace, not in fear. Daughter? Jake asked. Luna smiled through her pain. Can't you feel her? She's going to be beautiful. Jake closed his eyes and reached out with a mental connection they all shared. Suddenly, he could sense the baby's presence clearly. She was small but incredibly strong, with a mind that seemed much older than her tiny body, and she was trying to tell them something. She's not just coming early because of the danger, Jake said. Opening his eyes, she's coming now because she wants to help us. Help us how? Queen Arya asked. Before Jake could answer, the research station's door exploded inward. Commander Zix stepped through the smoke, followed by a dozen soldiers. Half were human, half were from Luna's world. Queen Arya, Commander Zix said, his voice cold and harsh. You've caused quite a stir in both worlds, Commander Zix, Queen Arya replied, standing protectively in front of Luna. I thought you were dead. Nearly was, thanks to you. But these helpful humans found me drifting in space 50 years ago. They've been very interested in learning about our technology. One of the human soldiers, a woman with short hair and cold eyes, stepped forward. Dr. Thompson, you're coming with us. You and the alien female. Her name's Luna, Jake said firmly. And we're not going anywhere. You don't have a choice, the woman said. You're both valuable assets now. Luna cried out again, and Jake felt another wave of pain through their connection. But this time, something else came with it. A feeling of warmth and hope that seemed to spread outward from Luna to everyone. In the room, the human soldiers suddenly looked confused. Their weapons dropped slightly as they stared at Luna with expressions of wonder instead of hostility. What's happening to them? Commander Zix demanded. The baby, Queen Arya said in amazement. She's projecting emotions. She's making them feel what we feel. Jake could sense it too. The baby was somehow reaching out to everyone around her, sharing the love and hope that her parents felt. The human soldiers were experiencing, for the first time, what it felt like to truly connect with another being. One of the soldiers, a young man who looked barely out of college, lowered his weapon completely. I can feel her, he whispered. The baby. She's not afraid of us. She's trying to help us understand. Commander Zix raised his own weapon. This is some kind of trick. Don't let them fool you. The soldiers from Luna's world were being affected too. Their black markings were starting to change color, becoming lighter as the baby's influence reached them. She's healing them, Luna said weakly. The anger and fear that turned their markings black, she's taking it away. Jake felt tears running down his face as he experienced what the baby was sharing with everyone. It was pure love, unconditional and overwhelming. But it was also something else, something that made him gasp with surprise. She's showing us the future, he said. All the possible futures. Through the baby's mind, everyone in the room could see what could happen. They saw wars between the two species, with cities burning and people dying. But they also saw another possibility, one where humans and Luna's people worked together, where their children grew up in a universe filled with wonder and discovery. The human commander lowered her weapon, tears streaming down her face. I can see it, she said. I can see what we could build together. Commander Zix was the only one still fighting the baby's influence. No, he shouted. This is weakness. Our species doesn't need these emotional connections. He raised his weapon toward Luna, but before he could fire, something unexpected happened. The baby was born. Jake felt the moment she entered the world. Through their mental connection, it was like a star being born, bright and warm and full of infinite possibility. Luna collapsed back in the chair, exhausted but smiling. The baby didn't cry like human babies do. Instead, she made a soft sound, like music. And her skin glowed with markings that were neither fully silver like Luna's, nor fully gold like Queen Arias. They were something new, something that had never existed before. Commander Zix stared at the baby in shock. Impossible, he whispered. Not impossible, Queen Aria said, taking the baby gently from Luna. Inevitable. This is what our species was always meant to become. The baby opened her eyes, and everyone in the room gasped. They were neither human nor alien, but something that seemed to contain the best of both species. When she looked at Commander Zix, her expression was not afraid or angry, but infinitely compassionate. Through their connection, Jake felt what the baby was sharing with the exile commander. She was showing him memories of his own childhood, before anger and fear had consumed him. She was reminding him of who he used to be. Commander Zix's weapon clattered to the floor as his black markings began to change, becoming silver and gold. Again, for the first time in decades, "What have I done?" he whispered. "What have I become? Someone who forgot how to hope." Queen Aria said gently, "But it's not too late to remember." Human commander stepped forward. "What happens now?" she asked. Jake looked at his daughter, then at Luna, who was smiling despite her exhaustion. "Now we build something new," he said. Something that nobody thought was possible. Over the following weeks, everything changed. The baby, who they named Star, became a bridge between the two worlds. Her very existence proved that cooperation was possible, and her mental abilities helped people from both species understand each other in ways they never had before. Luna's health improved dramatically after Star's birth, though she remained weaker than before. "I was made to bring our species together," she told Jake one day as they watched Star sleep. Mission accomplished. Queen Aria established a peaceful embassy on Earth, while Commander Zix began working to heal the divisions he had created. 8. Technology sharing between the two worlds led to amazing discoveries that helped both species. Jake found himself in a role he never could have imagined, serving as Earth's first ambassador to an alien world. But more importantly, he was a father to a little girl who represented hope for the future. "Do you ever miss your old life?"
Right.
Luna asked him one evening as they stood on the balcony of their new home, looking up at the stars. Jake thought about his quiet office, his simple routine, his lonely apartment. Then he looked at Star, who was playing with toys that floated in the air using her developing abilities. "No," he said, putting his arm around Luna. "This is exactly where I'm supposed to be." Queen Aria joined them on the balcony, smiling as she watched Star make the toys dance through the air. "She's going to change everything," the Queen said. "She already has," Jake replied as they stood there together. Watching their daughter play under alien stars, Jake realized that sometimes the most extraordinary adventures begin with the simplest choice: to help someone in need. He had found Luna in a crashed ship during a storm, and that single moment of compassion had led to something bigger than he ever could have imagined. Star looked up at her three parents and smiled, her markings glowing softly in the starlight. In her eyes, Jake could see the future. A future where love truly could transcend any boundary, even the space between worlds.